Now, Triple H, who's doing an incredible job for the WWE. However, there are three wrestlers, personally for me, that I feel are being mistreated and deserve more than what they are actually getting. The first wrestler we're going to talk about is Chad Gable. Now, for me, I think Chad Gable has so much potential and he can give so much more if he was put as an individual wrestler. We've seen his history with Alpha Academy. I think when he had that rivalry with RK Bro, with Riddle and Randy Orton, of course. I think it was a good storyline. He fit well into it. He was the heel with Otis. I think it worked well. But later on, as the years went by, Alpha Academy was slowly declining. Chad Gable wasn't going anywhere. He didn't have any good storylines to work with wrestlers. And I feel Triple H has to fix that with what's going on right now. We've seen him with the American Made. And look, it's a good up-and-coming team. I think they can do a lot with this group. You can see they're challenging for the tag team belt. She's defending the Intercontinental Championship belt. So there's a lot we can look at. There's a lot of positives for Chad Gable with this group where he can get his own title possibly very soon. But I feel he needs something different. Chad Gable, man, when we saw him on his own with Sami Zayn, we saw that storyline. We saw a different side of Chad Gable. You know, he was working well with Sami Zayn. He was treating him well, training him to beat Gunther, in which he did. And then he felt betrayed because he lost that chance against Sami Zayn, and then he turned completely heel. And I think that suited him well. I think he's a better heel than a babyface, and he does deserve something big. He's worked so hard for the company. You can see he's good on the mic. He's a good wrestler, and he can bring so much more to the table. And I think him with working around with the groups like American Made, just like what he did with Alpha Academy, he deserves more. And I think a world title would suit him well and would do him well. But that's a question mark, and I don't think Triple H would do that. But personally, that has to change. Now you're probably guessing, who's the second wrestler? Well, for me, it has to be Austin Theory. We've seen his storyline, his team work with Grayson Waller. At the start, it was not the worst. I think they were both suited being heel. They worked good as a team. They were both well on the mic together with their little jokes and their little comments to the crowds and to the wrestlers, which I quite like at the start. But I think it's just now fading away. The WWE has hinted on Austin Theory's babyface for quite some time now, and I think that should happen now. They should just prepare this rivalry with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory himself for WrestleMania. I think that's what they're building up to. But we can see why Austin Theory was so praised by Mr. McMahon, why he wanted him to be the next big thing, and just fans weren't into it at that point of his career, and fairly so. I think he wasn't rightfully deserved to be that main guy, that up and coming wrestler. He's still got things to improve on, develop on, and probably that tag team reign with Grayson Waller helped him in a way. But yeah, I think now he's at a point in his career where he deserves more. I think you can put him up with the best wrestlers right now. He's good on the mic. I think we've seen him work with John Cena a few times on the mic with his storyline when they versed, I'm pretty sure, at WrestleMania. He's worked with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So not a lot of wrestlers can have the privilege to work with these kind of wrestlers on the biggest stage of all. And he's had the opportunity. And that's what I think Triple H and Mr. McMahon has seen in him. That's why, like I've said, he's worked with the big wrestlers. But now it's time. I think he was the United States Championship for a little while. He cashed in his Money in the Bank. It didn't work out. But Austin Theory, I really like him. I think he'll make a great babyface. I think the fans will be by his side. I think it's about time he gets what he deserves. And yeah, I honestly think that he can be really and push for the next big thing. You've got Bron Breakker, Jacob Fatu, who fans are all obsessed with them and they got a bright future. But Austin Theory is seriously underrated, and if Triple H can get that storyline finished with Grayson Waller, their title tag team, push them on a rivalry at WrestleMania and then build something big for Austin Theory. Yeah, for him, he deserves more. Now you're probably wondering, who am I choosing as a third wrestler? Now, you may not agree with me, but I'm going for Karrion Kross. Now for me, I've always loved Karrion Kross, especially when he first started, and now he's really developing behind the scenes in backstage promos with AJ Styles. He's had a few with Sami Zayn, The Miz. I think he does bring a lot to the table, and like I said, not a lot of you will agree with me, but he deserves more. Like there's something about him that just makes me say wow, and what he can really bring, like AJ Styles, I think they're building him up slowly, maybe for WrestleMania. I don't know if AJ Styles may be versing Logan again. I'm not sure. But yeah, Karrion Kross, I've always liked him. He's like that devil, always whispers in these wrestlers' ears and tries to manipulate them, deceive them, and into maybe joining him and maybe creating something as a group. But yeah, Karrion Kross, he's seriously underrated, and he's always backstage. I've never seen him in the ring, making a promo, having a rivalry with someone, or having some sort of match. And it's been maybe a month or a bit that he hasn't been in the ring, only backstage. And he gives me Edge vibes. It's just something, maybe his long hair, and he's good on the mic. He's a decent wrestler. But yeah, I think it's about time Karrion Kross does get something in the WWE. He could win the Money in the Bank. Kamala Hayes, I think, is the favorite, and there's a few other wrestlers, but for me, I'll give it to Karrion Kross. And Karrion Kross with the third member, the fourth member, with John Cena, The Rock, and Travis Scott. Personally, it probably was Logan Paul that was hinted to be the next fourth member, but I don't know. I think Karrion Kross would suit that group, just especially with the way he works with wrestlers. As I said, he whispers in the ear. He can suit that Hollywood group very well, but I know that wouldn't happen. But yeah, Karrion Kross deserves more. I think he's worked well, just like I've mentioned about the other wrestlers, Austin Theory, Chad Gable. He's another one on the list that truly deserves more. And Triple H, I don't know what you're waiting for, but make sure with these three wrestlers, you get them a big move in the next few. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel.